From what I can gather, people on the internet basically think that the spiritual side of the truth movement, so the New Ageists, the New Christian or revitalized Christians or revitalized Catholics, or the Muslim movement, the movement for Islamification, at least in a spiritual sense, is composed of four types of people. The first type is people who actually know the truth, or at least give across with such conviction that they know the truth. These people who know the truth are actually telling you the truth. And there's a second kind of people. These are the people who know the truth, but purposefully are not telling you the truth, and in fact are telling you lies. Then there's the third type of people. These are people who don't know the truth whatsoever, but somehow they're actually telling you what the truth is. And then last but not least, there's the people who don't know the truth and are in fact telling you lies. They don't even know it, but they're really fucking your mind up. Well, what I'm going to propose to you is that this isn't the case at all. There isn't actually four people. There's actually only two types. And now I'm going to prove it. Let's say there's two people who really seem to know the truth. They come across very convincingly. They have a lot of conviction. There's two of them. And they each know the truth. But, of course, they're telling you two different versions of the truth that seem to conflict with each other. You can logically deduct that, of course, both of them cannot be right at the same time. Maybe one could possibly have some sort of approximation as to what the truth actually is, but definitely not both of them, because they're both different, they're both discreet, they're both unique. I mean, there is, after all, only one truth, one creation, one voice that seems to be giving them both of these versions of the truth. As both of these individuals reside in what we can call creation or call the truth. Now let's take these two truth tellers, these two convictional truth tellers, who are speaking their truths with such righteousness and such conviction. Now let's multiply these two truth tellers by 2. Let's multiply them by 2. Let's multiply them exponentially by 2, which is the case in our collective reality. in consciousness, we have many different versions of the truth. Obviously, a lot of people wouldn't have begun to amass and collectively develop unique yet collective versions of the truth if these people weren't so believable. And of course, let's not forget that both of these truth tellers initially let's assume that they are both, in fact, being granted this absolute knowledge or absolute truth. So once you multiply these truth tellers by other convictional truth tellers and other convictional truth tellers, with yet even more distinct versions of the truth, you start to find that it becomes more and more absurd that they could all possibly be telling the truth, yet at the same time it becomes even more and more absurd to think that only one of them actually knows what the truth is. It's much like if two different people look at a tree, maybe from different cultures, different ethnicities. They're both going to call that tree a different thing. They're both going to assume it arose from creation and manifested itself in their own different way. However, a tree ultimately, undeniably and unequivocally is what it is. It is it. That thing there that we can both describe in our own words and touch and feel and smell. It is what it is regardless of what we deem it to be or why we deem it to be. So, again, this absurdity continues once you start to realize that to validate one of these truths, you basically have to invalidate all the other ones. They're all speaking within the truth, you see. They're all a sum. They sum up to what the truth is, potentially. But there's no way that all of them can be valid. And because all of them can't be valid, none of them are valid. Because all of them are invalid, none of them can be valid. None of them know what the truth is. For if you are to say that your truth is valid and the others is not, is to proclaim that that tree is a tree. So it becomes easy following this process to invalidate all of the truth tellers. And then you start to acknowledge the fact that there is only one truth. And it just simply isn't knowable by one of us in a unique, discrete fashion. Or by a collective group who is in agreement in its uniqueness and apartness